What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today I am back with another wonderful character card from Wave 4 of the Transformers trading card game, except it's not really one card, it's two. Just yesterday I showed you Brunt, a new type of weaponizer. That's two cards that combine at the beginning of the game, and then when it gets KO'd, it uncombines into two upgrades. And we thought Brunt was good, right? But it turned out while I was making my Brunt video, comicbook.com was going and showing us Six Gun. Yeah, Six Gun is, well, it's a little bit good, ladies and gentlemen. Now, we actually have had Six Gun before. Six Gun is becoming a very weird character in the trading card game. What we actually had previously was a Metroplex deck, where Six Gun was a tiny character that came in at 4 stars and started underneath Metroplex, and was kind of almost like a throw-in to a Metroplex deck. Yeah, this is not that Six Gun, ladies and gentlemen. This is a very different Six Gun. Obviously, like before, it is a new weaponizer, and they are rares just like they were yesterday. So I am going to be very interested to see what the pull rates are here, because that could really affect how we feel about these cards and how easy they are to use. For anyone who asked the question on the Brunt video yesterday, if you are in a sealed format and you only pull one half of a weaponizer, it is an unplayable card, you can't use it in sealed. But Six Gun is good. Starting off then, in bot mode, it is a 10 cost character, which does make it cheaper than Brunt. And the stats, we got an attack of 4, health of 10, defense of 1, which make it basically the same as Brunt, except you get +1 attack, -1 defense. It's fine. Except it's not really fine for a 10 cost. What we've seen on these weaponizers to date, the stats are not good. Stat-wise, we expect more than we get from a 10 cost. Having said that, it's got one whole heap of a good skill to help make up for it. When this attacks, you may scrap a weapon from your hand that has a bonus attack in the stat box. And if you do, this gets that much extra attack until end of turn. So, of course, the very first thought most people had here, and I don't blame them for this, well, let's go right to the end. Let's go for the biggest and baddest one. Let's go for the only +4 we've seen so far. Grenade Launcher. +4 attack, you attach it. After you attack, scrap this card. Well, what you can do with Six Gun here is scrap it when you attack and just get the +4. Now, of course, this means that you can double Grenade Launcher. You can attach one to Sergeant Six Gun, and then discard the other one from your hand when you attack, and you're rocking 12 attack. Now, you're also using 2 of your free grenade launchers for the game. It's going to be very hard to draw into them that early. Maybe you can play something like Treasure Hunt to increase your odds, but it's still going to be difficult. And then you've only got one left in your deck until your deck runs out and your scrap pile gets shuffled up and becomes your deck. But it remains a theoretical play. It also means you can essentially use 2 weapons in one. Although, to be fair, one of those weapons lasts for a single turn. Doesn't matter for grenade launcher's going to run out at the end of your turn anyway, but other weapons won't. Another one that's really good to use here is, for instance, Static Laser of Ironhide. It gives you +3 attack, but if you attack with it and you're not Ironhide, you've got to take 2 damage. Well, here, you don't attach it and then attack. You scrap it when you attack, you get the +3, you don't have to take the 2 damage. But you also then cannot use it next turn. Sometimes that will be good because not taking 2 damage will keep you alive. Other times it's actually going to be kind of really annoying. But the other thing this lets you do is bend the rules a little bit. You see, there are plenty of upgrades out there that only allow you to attach it to a certain type of character. Well, you're not attaching it to Six Gun, you're discarding it when you attack, so you get to completely ignore that rule. Let's take Energon Axe for instance, a very, very nice card, gives you +3 attack, gives you Pierce 2, but it can only be put onto a damaged character. Well, that doesn't matter. If Sergeant Six Gun isn't damaged, you can discard it from your hand when you attack to get the +3 attack bonus. You do not get the extra Pierce, you just get the +3 attack. But that's still a pretty hefty, awesome, large bonus. I like this. It means you can play cards like Energon Axe that you sometimes can and sometimes can't use, and you can still get value from them. But then when it gets KO'd, it turns into 2 upgrades that both get attached simultaneously. MTX S2A Guided Missile Launcher and MTX M2 Anti-Gravity Cannon. Let's start with a cannon, shall we? It is an upgrade weapon that gives you +1 attack and Pierce 4. Pierce 4 is huge. Like, Pierce 4 is absolutely gigantic. One of the big piercing things we had back in Wave 1 was Piercing Blaster. That was one of the big things we would use for Pierce, and it gave Pierce 3. We've had things like The Bigger They Are, which is a very awkward to use card, because you can only use it, well, you get +2 attack regardless, but you only get full value when you're attacking an enemy that has more stars, and then you get Pierce 4. Here you just flat out get Pierce 4. As a side note, The Bigger They Are does give you +2 attack, but it doesn't actually have the +2 attack at the bottom left of the card, so it wouldn't count for Six Gun's bot mode ability. That's pretty important to point out. PS4 is absolutely huge. It guarantees 4 damage as long as your attack is 4 or higher. Remember, if your Pierce is 4 but your attack is 3, you still only get 3. Having said that, if your attack is 3, this gives you +1 attack and then PS4, so you would be at 4/4, you'd be guaranteeing 4 damage. Quite frankly, this is like the best piercing option we've had. It is no qualification PS4. Well, unless I've forgotten a card, and if I have, please let me know in the comment section. I don't believe we've had a no qualification PS4 yet. There's always a catch when it comes to the big piercing. So you know what? Being able to get PS4? Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty good, ladies and gentlemen. That's pretty gosh darn good. Even Fusion Cannon of Megatron, which is Megatron only gives you PS3. And again, that's not without qualification because it's Megatron only. Cool. But there are 2. What's the other one do? Well, MTX S2A Guided Missile Launcher gives you +3 attack and can go in your armor or utility slot. Now, this is not the best we've ever seen. I've already shown you Grenade Launcher. Now, I've also explained in this video and in others, +3 attack comes with a downside. So, another example of this would be Erratic Lightning. Gives you +3 attack, but it also gives you -1 defense. You don't generally get +3 attack. Not unless there's a downside. Here you do. But better than that, it can be put in your armor or utility slot, which is important because otherwise these two would have to go on different characters. And with Sergeant Six Gun being a 10 cost, you might be playing a 2-wide deck. And if you're playing a 2-wide deck and one of your characters splits into upgrades that have to go on to different characters, you would literally only get the benefit of one of them. Brunt got around this by having an armor and a weapon. Six Gun gets around it because one of its weapons can go in the armor or utility slot. And we've seen this with cards like mounted missiles in the past. It's huge. It's brilliant. Because it opens up so many more options. You can put it in the weapon slot if you really want to, but you could put it as an armor or a utility. So you could have this and attach a grenade launcher to get +7 attack. Well, +7 attack is ludicrous. If you really want to go nuts, you could have this and grenade launcher and mounted missiles, because that can also go in an armor or utility slot. And then all of a sudden you've got +9 attack. This is for an aggressive deck. This is for a deck that wants to smash. But in that kind of deck, it's phenomenal. Now, there's nothing to actually stop you playing a bunch of blue icons with Sergeant Six Gun. As long as you've got some extra attack on the cards, you can go for a blue deck. Look at Energon Axe. You've still got that +3 to use on a bot mode ability, but you've got a blue icon. You could play this as a blue deck, going defensive, but taking advantage of the fact that you are increasing your attack, using skills and using upgrades such that you don't need to rely on orange icons. That is absolutely an option. One of the things people have suggested using this with that I've seen is Lord Megatron. Now, Lord Megatron strikes me as one of these that's so gosh darn good, we're going to think about using it with basically everything. But Lord Megatron, when your opponent reshuffles their deck, they choose one of their characters and do damage to it, equals to Lord Megatron's attack total. Well, your attack total is going to be a bit higher if you've attached an MTX S2A guided missile launcher, which puts you at 7 attack. And, of course, we need to bear in mind here that that's not taking up your weapon slot, so you could also put another weapon on to get a ridiculous amount of cheeky damage when your opponent reshuffles their deck. Yeah, that's pretty gosh darn good. I mean, the other weaponizer we've seen in terms of the new style is Raider Brunt. And I'm sorry, but I like this more than I like Raider Brunt. The thing about Raider Brunt is, it doesn't quite know what it wants to be. Because you've got an armor that's really good for defense, and a weapon that's really good for attack, and it turns off bold and tough. It does a lot of things, but it doesn't necessarily pick a side. Now, you might be able to make a really good deck around that, and I believe that some people will, and maybe it's just about the complexity of the card. But when you look at Sergeant Six Gun, you go, boom, let's go full on attack, let's do this. There is so much potential here with Sergeant Six Gun. There really is. I mean, if you were to play it with Lord Megatron, imagine if they destroy, KO, knock out Sergeant Six Gun. You then attach both of these upgrades and maybe, I don't know, fusion cannon of Megatron to Lord Megatron, and then your opponent has to reshuffle their deck and you're sitting there with an attack of 9. Yeah, that's going to be pretty spectacular, ladies and gentlemen. That's going to be pretty gosh darn spectacular. I love Sergeant Six Gun. It is an extremely exciting character, and if you want to be playing an aggro deck and you've got 10 stars to spare, this is one you are going to have to really seriously consider. But this is the point in the video where I would be very interested to know what you think about Sergeant Six Gun. So let me know in the comment section. Go nuts. Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, and follow me on Twitter at the Wossy, where we talk Transformers and whatever games take my fancy. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.